y'all hear that ringing? That phone? Because I effing called it. That's right. Joe here with the INC. Welcome, welcome. How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, and all that? It's not really scripted here. It's kind of an impromptu little deal because there's some news this week. Me and Carl have actually tossed around the idea of trying to get like a midweek news update going. But here we are on Friday. Yesterday I was kind of sleeping most of the day. My first day of vacation. And so I was kind of just sleeping and resting. And so it was kind of late when I saw all the news. So that's the reason why I got a little delayed. But yeah, UFC 303, a.k.a. How I Was Right. Wow, I told you guys Sunday was going to be, or Monday was going to be the last time you guys saw me in my 20s. Turns out no, because here's all the news. In that recap video, I said, yeah, there's no way Conor fights. I'm not going to believe it until he steps in. Well, I was right. Conor is out. And Jamala Hill's out. I'd imagine Jamala Hill's out. They said it was with an injury. I'd imagine it's probably broken thumbs because he's been complaining online a lot lately about how he got knocked. He's really salty about getting knocked out and memed on by Alex Pereira, which is, I kind of understand that, but he's also kind of being a douche about it. It's one thing to be upset and angry and like upset about something. It's another thing to be like a whiny and a douche about it. Conor's out though. They said injury. I would imagine he probably popped hot for coke or drugs or something as well. You never know. It's pretty easy to be like, hey coach, I messed up and I'm gonna pop hot on this drug test they got me. And it's like, well, we're gonna tell them you're injured. Like I'm not trying to speculate too much. I realize that's like creating rumors. I'm not trying to create a rumor. So, that's just kind of how it is though. I'm not looking to be like an MMA guru and just come up with baseless claims and try and create a narrative. I'm not looking to do that. It's not what we do here. On here, we're a little different. We be respectful, professional, and dare I say, charmingly handsome. So, new co-main event and new main event. And it's Alex Pereira versus Jiri Prochazka 2 is the new main event. Now, this is awesome because I'm a big Jiri Prochazka fan. My best friend and roommate, he's become a big Pereira fan, which I don't blame him. Like the Pereira fan base, I'm not the biggest fans of, but I will say he himself is really fun to watch. He's really interesting. I think he's probably, in terms of like overall skill, probably one of the worst modern day champions we could have. Like, because he just no ground game to save his life, really. He just keeps fighting guys that just refuse to grapple him so that he knocks him out, because he's got the best striking in the world. Like, it's no denying that he's the best striker on the planet, at least in MMA. But it's only like one pretty small part of the game, so it's kind of funny. That said, Jiri did tag him a little bit on the feet, but I still think Yuri's going to be like, no, samurai, I'm going in there on my sword and I'm going to knock him out. Like, dude, just take him down. Like, I know he can't, what's funny is Yuri doesn't have the best grappling either. Like, he can grapple. Like, he has good grappling, but his wrestling isn't very good at all. So, it's kind of a scary matchup for me as a Yuri fan, but I'm down to see that again. That fight does sound fun. Then it's Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopez, which is, dude, I thought this card wasn't very good when they first announced it. If they just added this, I would have been like, oh, this card's awesome. Like, this is a must-buy card. Diego Lopez, we last saw him fight Super Sadiq Youssef at UFC 300, TKO'd him round 1, just blasting him. This dude was my pick last year of, like, Rookie of the Year, like UFC Rookie of the Year last year. I think he was almost everybody's, too. And, dude's just, I've become such a fan of his. Like, I'm becoming, like, a mega fan of him because he is so much fun, and he's, like, building a name for himself. It's funny because Evloev was his debut, and he made it really hard for Evloev on, like, a week notice. And Evloev stock is like kind of plateaued, who hasn't lost since, by the way, still unbeaten, hasn't lost since of Voliev, and Diego Lopez is like, in terms of fanfare around him, has just kind of eclipsed him. It's got to be because of how he fights and how exciting it is. So I'm super pumped for that. Brian Ortega, I mean, I thought Yair was going to knock him out based on like the first round I was watching, and then he comes back, gets the big arm triangle choke, does it in front of his ex that he cheated on, which is like, that's like a petty move that Alex Bejeda was like, probably good petty move there. Carlos Olberg, who stepped in for Khalil Roundtree, because Khalil Roundtree and Jamal Hill was going to be the original co-main event. Roundtree popped hot. Sucks, because he's really fun to watch, and I hate when fighters I kind of like, or I'm starting to like, pop hot, because it's like, oh, dude, I can't be a fan of yours now. Ooh. So Carlos Olberg, he stepped in to fight Jamal Hill. With Jamal Hill out, is he staying on the card? Yeah, he is. He's taking on Professor Farnsworth Jr., as I like to call him, Anthony Smith, because his nose, like, his nose, it looks like Farnsworth Jr. in Futurama, where like his nose was on the beaker he was grown in. He kind of looks like him to me. Like if Farnsworth Jr. wasn't like a chunky middle school kid, he like, became a fighter. Yeah, I kind of see Anthony Smith looking like him. And then, so with those 3 fights added to 303, here is what like the rest of the card looks like, to kind of give you a look at what like the whole card is showing. We have Mayra Bueno Silva versus Macy Chiasson. We butcher that last name, despite her like not being foreign. It's funny. So that's a fight where Carl gets to see if 2 of his girls beat MBS twice in a row. Marc-André Barriault versus Joe Pfeiffer. Be like Joe Pfeiffer, they say. Totally broke Ngannou's punch record when no one was around. It was they have proof. It's a note that says, just trust me, bro. Ian Gary versus Michael Venom Page, MVP. God, I hope Ian Gary gets beat. I don't really like either of them. I'm not a fan of either of them, but I really hope MVP beats him. Andre Fili versus Cub Swanson. Crazy to me that those two have never fought before with how long they've been around in the same division. It's kind of wild. Vinicius Oliveira versus Ricky Simone, who I'm still a fan of. He's still my boy. Charles Jourdain versus Jean Silva. Giannis Gamorti versus Peyton Talbot. Gillian Robertson versus Michelle Watterson. Andre Arlovsky versus Martin Boudet. And Carlos Hernandez versus Ray Suriura. So, I have a question for you guys. Like, this is a lot of news we just kind of covered with, like, some opinions here and there. Once again, kind of informal, just kind of spur of the moment. Let's do this. But I am genuinely curious, because this is my question for you guys. Is this card better now? Like, not in terms of star power, it's not. It's not at all better in terms of star power, because I'm not everyone knows how I feel about Conor McGregor. He's the biggest star in the sport's history. So anything less from him is probably, sorry, I bumped the mic there. Anything less than him is probably like a downgrade in terms of star power. But is this card in terms of quality better now by adding 3 fights? One of those fights, whatever. Anthony Smith, Carlos Olberg, it's good. It's a good fight, but it's not going to like sell a pay-per-view necessarily in terms of intrigue. Its intrigue alone isn't tantalizing, I feel like, personally, to us, like because let's be honest, here at the INC we mostly have a hardcore audience, I don't know if that's like the most tantalizing fight for us, but I'm sure Brian Ortega, Diego Lopez is, and I'm sure there's at least some intrigue still around Yuri Pajeda too. So that's my question to you guys. That's it for me, though. I don't really have much. That was this, because this was kind of a big news thing. It was kind of one of those things where it's like we have to shoot something and KO it. So that's exciting. That's actually really exciting. I'm kind of pumped. Yeah, it's sick. So, of course, you will see me this weekend. I'll be 30 when I shoot it, most likely. But I will be here. And you'll see me. It was Alex Alex Perez fights. I should remember, but it's an Apex card, or it's a fight night, so they all kind of run together. My brain was like, Alex Perez versus Nasruddin Imavov, and I went, no, that was last week, where Imavov fought, what's it called? Oh, there's another thing in news. Khamzat Chimaev pulled out of his fight with Robert Whittaker, because of course he did. Yeah, like that happened too. Of course he did. Did anyone expect him to fight? No. I feel bad for him a little bit, because a lot of it, like, is injuries from COVID and all this stuff like that. But he doesn't make it easy to feel bad for him. He's, this whole, I smash everyone, brother, like, gets old already, especially when you're not very active. And his affiliations with dictators makes it even harder to sympathize. So I'm kind of torn if I should feel bad for his injury woes, because I'm sure it's not like he wants to pull out of fights. I'm sure he wants to fight. It's just kind of rough. It's kind of rough. Very talented. It sucks having a talented fighter of that caliber, because he seems very, very talented, that just doesn't fight and is just annoying. I'm sure this is how people who kind of liked Conor McGregor felt for a long time. But anyways, that's it for me. I'm Joe with the INC. Thank you so much for watching. So, once again, from the INC, thank you so much. Peace, guys.